Okay, here I am at Enterprise Connect 2019, and I'm joined at the very fancy Cisco booth by Amy Chang.
Fancy Cisco booth.
Amy, thanks so much for
Hi,
joining
Patrick.
me.
I'm so glad to be joining you today.
No, absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for sparing the time. We're here in front of a WebEx board, and we're talking about cognitive collaboration.
Yes, we are.
So I run a podcast channel which I was telling you about where I work with one of your WebEx masters in the UK who's called Jonathan George, and he's explained the premise to me, but I wanted to get it from you, from Cisco. What does cognitive collaboration mean to you?
It means intelligence and context, basically slipstreamed into the product, the entire portfolio, without the user needing to lift a finger. So some of the things I just previewed with you and showed you, Patrick, I'll tell your listeners about a little bit. But it's basically just context that's brought to you on a silver platter. So you don't have to lift a finger and you don't have to make a lot of effort. It should come to you. And it's actually going to early release tomorrow on WebEx, and you can get access to it via Control Hub. But shall I talk for a second about how the data platform came about and what it is?
Oh, yes, please. Let's hear a bit of the background. Because obviously this has come from your previous company, and this is always confusing. Your previous company, a company.
It's called a company because we accompany you everywhere. And the logo is this little blue dog, because guess what? He's with you everywhere. He's there to bring you things, right? That's basically
Makes perfect sense.
Only after you explain it, though. But you know how hard it is to get a real English word as kind of a URL and to get rights to it. So
yeah, I can't imagine that was easy. So no, but that makes perfect sense. So the accompaniment
yes.
is surrounding, and that's what the premise comes from.
Exactly. So we bought the company 10 months ago, and that's when I joined Cisco in the leadership team because I'd spent a couple years on the board prior to that. So most of us on the founding team actually came from Google. And we built Google Analytics, right? And we built it up from this teeny tiny little thing to serve 86% of the whole web. And while we were building it, there were two things we learned, right? The first was to build a super scalable data platform. And the second was, well, to crawl the web, because it is Google, right? So then we combined that up into this massive ingestion engine where every nanosecond of the day, we're sitting there and we're on the hunt for people information and company information. And every single spec we find, now mind you, publicly available, non-logged in information.
Absolutely, and we should say that it's publicly available data.
Available, non-logged in, right? We do not invade people's privacy. You take that information, you parse it into its component pieces, and then you associate it with the right person. And Patrick, you and I were just talking about the right person. If you have a name like Patrick Watson or Amy Chang, and Amy Chang is so generic, right? We were joking, it's the Jim Smith of the Chinese world. There are literally thousands of us. There's 2 of us at Cisco, there's 4 of us at Google. It's crazy.
You need the right one, don't you?
Well, you know, when Chuck wants to email somebody and say, hey, why isn't this working? And she gets it, she's like, that goes to the other.
I'm not in charge of the collaboration division, please.
This is not the right Amy Chang. Go to find the other one. So that discernment and the intelligence that's necessary for that discernment is so kind of
That's the complicated.
Critical. It's complicated. It's taken us 5 years to build. Every 10 basis points of improvement are a dogfight, right? But that's how AI ML goes, is when you get up to a threshold and that threshold is hard to reach, then you just got to keep perfecting. And so that's what we've been doing. And we take it, and I was demoing it to you. Yeah. We're going to get Patrick on. But that's coming into WebEx tomorrow. So then everybody who gets on the early release can get their hands on it. But then the second part, the even more interesting part, is what you can do with that data, because you can pattern on top of it. So you take 250 million people, 25 million companies that are a part of this, and then you take it up a level and you start to say, for any cohort class, for any combination and permutation of characteristics, let's say the last 50 years worth of Stanford alumni, who are my rising stars? Who are my high potentials?
Who are the hot prospects?
Who are the hot prospects who are in that cohort of folks? And how do I discern who, for example, their career progression has pulled a standard deviation up off of the cohort norm? So as they've gone from hop, top, top to hop, how accelerated has that hopping been? And we'll get into some more of the details tomorrow, but that is going into contact center. So you can imagine what happens when you can take current customer lifetime value, which is state of the art now, and combine potential customer lifetime value with it. What happens? What happens to the underlying customer experience? It's going to be so exciting.
It's going to be huge. I mean, it sounds incredibly exciting on what you're bringing to the table in terms of the additions to WebEx that we're talking about, and some of the features. I've had a pre-demo in terms of facial recognition and some of the people
Active
insights
training.
some of the insights you're able to offer are going to make an immediate difference. I mean, we could talk about the future, but you're doing this right now.
We're doing it right now. And that's the thing is, we wanted to hold the fireworks until the show was ready to go, right? Popping one firework and then another isn't as effective as an entire display. So get ready for the entire display tomorrow. Because here's the thing is, all the announcements you've been hearing have all been around, we're assembling the chess pieces to play the game, right? We're assembling all the different parts to have a whole UCAS solution or whatever kind of solution it is. The chess pieces are on the board. I'm adding another dimension. We're playing Vulcan chess now. We're not playing
It's a different game.
We're not playing regular two-dimensional chess. Cognitive collaboration is adding a whole new layer to the game. It is, as you said, a different game, right? And it's coming into every part of the platform, not just WebEx, but first WebEx, devices, contact center, all of it. It's going to have this graph that underlays it, and any of the products can pull from it.